Archangel Michael says, the spiritual betrayal has been witnessed. The one behind it still walks in shadow. This message comes to you on a divinely marked day, a day not chosen by man but appointed in the courts of heaven. The moment your spirit was stirred, the moment your heart felt the weight of these words, the scroll of this hour was opened. This is not coincidence, child of light. This is appointment. The heavens have seen. The betrayal has already happened, and did not go unnoticed. And now, by divine instruction, the Archangel Michael speaks, not to the crowd, but to the remnant, the few, the awakened, those whose ears have been tuned to frequencies the world cannot hear. This message is not for the comfortable. It is not for the casual. It is for the consecrated. The betrayal was not just an act. It was a signal that something sacred was interfered with, a signal that someone close has violated covenant. You trusted them. You opened your spirit. You let them near. And though they smiled and nodded and walked beside you, their loyalty was leaking in silence. Heaven watched. The angelic host recorded. The one who betrayed you still walks in shadow, hidden in plain sight, operating in silence, protected by your loyalty. But no more. This message comes as an alarm in the spirit realm. Stillness is no longer just a posture. It has become a weapon. And silence, once a symbol of peace, has become the mask of betrayal. There is one among you who knows what they've done, and they are counting on your stillness as permission to continue. But hear this clearly. Obedience to silence is no longer righteous when it permits darkness to prosper. Heaven is calling out the hidden. The betrayer is still moving among you, but now the angelic light is breaking through their shadow. Archangel Michael now speaks to the spiritually discerning. You, who have been sensing something off. You, who have been dreaming things that feel too real. You, who have been waking up with an unshakable heaviness, as if something is brushing against your soul. It is not in your head. It is in your spirit. Your discernment is accurate. This is not paranoia. It is prophetic insight. And you are being prepared. This is not a message for everyone. This is not to be debated or dissected by the doubting. This is a divine memo sent to the ones chosen to carry weight, to confront darkness, and to awaken others. You are not here by mistake. Your ears were drawn to this message because heaven has sounded the alarm in your name. And the one in shadow has now been placed under spiritual surveillance. Let your heart be alert. Let your spirit be still. But let your eyes be open, because what was once hidden will now begin to tremble under the gaze of divine light. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Before the next moon cycle completes, a divine interruption is taking place. Hear now, O listener whose heart burns with heavenly truth, Archangel Michael calls you to rise in spiritual alertness. You are not just watching a video. You are being summoned. Summoned out of slumber. Summoned out of distraction. Summoned away from the noise of the world. For what heaven is about to do in your life requires a posture of divine attention. This message did not find you by mistake. No, it was sent to you, heaven signed and spirit sealed. You were led here because your name has been called, not in the mouths of men, but in the courts of angels. You are a vessel with eyes that see past the surface, and ears that can pick up whispers not spoken aloud. Your assignment is shifting, and this is your awakening. Listen to me. The betrayer walks near, undetected, undisturbed, cloaked in a calm face, clothed in your memories. The one who knew your heart, the one who walked beside you, They are not what they appeared to be. There is a shadow clinging to them. A mask has been worn. And now, heaven is pulling back the veil. The Spirit of God has paused your day with divine purpose. You were busy. You were distracted. But He broke through your routine to get your attention. He broke through your scrolling and your silence to say, "It's time." Watch closely. You're being activated. There is no room for spiritual sleep now. The shadows are shifting. Powers and principalities are positioning themselves. What once stood behind you is now standing beside you, trying to whisper confusion. What once hid its nature is beginning to show its teeth. And Archangel Michael, sword drawn and flame-cloaked, stands ready at your right hand. You are not paranoid. You are perceiving. You are not afraid, you are aware. That knot in your stomach is not anxiety. It is your discernment stirring. That weight in the air is not depression. It is spiritual pressure mounting. Because what's happening now is not flesh and blood. It is heavenly strategy unfolding. And you must not miss your instruction. Not everyone will hear this. Not everyone can hear this. That's why this word will feel heavy, because it is weighty. Not everyone is called to carry it. But you are. You are not just being warned. You are being weaponized. You are not just a witness to betrayal. You are a warrior being positioned for the unraveling of darkness. So listen. The betrayer walks free, yes. But they do not walk alone. The eyes of heaven are upon them. The scent of judgment has begun to fill the air. The angelic forces are shifting into place. And this message is the thunder before the lightning, the whisper before the strike. You who are chosen, this is your cue to rise in the Spirit. This is your moment to sharpen your discernment, to guard your atmosphere, to walk as one who has been entrusted with divine knowledge. Do not let the calm around you deceive you. The quiet is not peace. It is the calm before confrontation. The betrayer is moving, but so is heaven. And so must you. You were never meant to sit still while shadows take root. You were meant to stand. See, speak. War. The Spirit of God is putting His words in your mouth and His flame in your bones. You will not be silent. You will not be shaken. You will not be fooled again. Your role is crucial now. Not occasional. Not passive. Gruesome. The atmosphere you carry, it shifts rooms. The prayers you release, they pierce realms. The dreams you've been having, they are divine data. Every moment of silence you endured, every tear you buried, every confusion you held back, it was preparing you to hear clearly now. And now, hear this. The shadows are shifting. Your role is crucial now. You are not waiting on confirmation. You are the confirmation. What you've been sensing was not in vain. The unease in your spirit, the way certain people's presence now unsettles you, it's real. The betrayal didn't end when they turned their back. It started when they stopped telling the truth. And now, they walk near. But you are no longer blind. Archangel Michael walks with those who carry fire. You, beloved, are one of them. Heaven has marked you for watchful alertness. You do not walk into this next season ignorant. You walk in insight. You walk in foresight. You walk in authority. Let this be your invocation. I will not be fooled. I will not be silent. I will not back down. Repeat it until your soul believes it. Declare it until the darkness flees. For before the next moon cycle completes, a turning will occur. And when it does, you must be found ready. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. Someone close to you had been hiding behind smiles and silence. They laughed with you. They stood beside you. They shared words that felt genuine, eyes that felt sincere. But underneath that mask, behind those rehearsed reassurances, something was festering. Something unspoken. Something deeply unclean. The betrayal did not come with a loud announcement. It crept in under the guise of friendship. It moved silently. It moved strategically. And now, heaven says, it hath been witnessed. There were whispers in rooms you were never invited into. Eyes that shifted when your name was mentioned. Texts left unread but words spoken elsewhere. They watched you carry burdens too heavy to bear and they said nothing. They watched the attacks come against your name and they stood still. They watched as your spirit wept in silent battles and they turned away with dry eyes and quiet mouths. And yet, they still smiled. And yet, they still acted as if nothing had shifted. And yet, they still played their part as if loyalty still lived in them. But your spirit knew. Even when your mind fought against the reality, your spirit knew. Something was off. Something didn't align. They were near you, but not with you. They were present, but not loyal. And now, the veil is tearing and truth is breaking forth. It wasn't your paranoia. It wasn't your imagination. It was the early tremor of divine exposure. You felt the coldness in their presence. You noticed the change in tone. You picked up on the avoidance. They stopped calling. They started watching you from a distance. And when you reached out, they gave you surface-level replies. Not to protect you, but to protect what they were hiding. Because what they did was not just betrayal of your trust, it was betrayal of a sacred assignment. The bond was not just emotional, it was spiritual. The connection was not just friendly, it was covenantal. And they broke it in silence, thinking the heavens were not watching. But the Spirit of the living God has recorded every unspoken act. This betrayal carries weight, because it came through someone who once held your trust like a treasure. Someone who saw the rawness of your soul, the sacredness of your dreams, the struggles you never made public. And yet, they weaponized proximity. They used familiarity as a shield. They clothed deception in affection. And heaven says, no more. The spiritual realm is not indifferent to your heartbreak. Archangel Michael did not miss the moment your heart cracked under the weight of confusion. The angels know it every tear you refused to shed in public. There was a holy hush that fell when your trust was broken, because even heaven was grieved by the violation. The betrayal was not random. It was calculated. It was chosen. And it cut deeper than the average wound, because it came through a vessel you once called safe. Do you remember the moments when your intuition screamed at you, but you hushed it to keep the peace? Do you recall the times when your soul recoiled around them, but your loyalty made excuses for their behavior? Do you remember the little betrayals, the way they minimized your success, the way they celebrated your pain in subtle tones, the way they were absent when you needed their presence the most? It was never just disinterest. It was never just emotional distance. It was the early stages of spiritual betrayal. And now, God is bringing it into the light. Because something sacred was violated under the cover of friendship. The trust you gave was holy. The access you provided was spiritual real estate. And they didn't just trample on it. They invited darkness to dine there. They entertained gossip. They harbored jealousy, and they masked resentment as politeness. And now, the cup of heaven's tolerance is full. Exposure is near. But you must hear this. You are not weak for being wounded. You are not foolish for being trusting. You were loyal to the end, and that loyalty was your offering. You held on. You believed the best. You extended grace again and again. And though the betrayer believed they had outmaneuvered you, they failed to realize you were never alone. Heaven was watching. The angels recorded. And now, justice has begun to stir. The betrayal broke something inside you, but it also birthed something holy. It cracked your illusions, yes, but it also awakened your authority. It disrupted your expectations, but it also forged your discernment. And now, you are no longer who you were before the pain. You are wiser, younger, braver. What they tried to destroy has only deepened your spiritual perception. The discomfort you feel now is not weakness. It is the pressure of revelation. And it is working for you. You may feel emotionally disrupted. You may feel raw. You may feel betrayed, abandoned, confused. But trust this, heaven is close to the broken-hearted, and justice has already been released into your timeline. Watch for signs. Watch for confessions disguised as conversations. Watch for slip-ups that seem accidental. Because the betrayer is losing their grip, and their silence is beginning to shatter. The exposure will come not by your hands, but by divine orchestration. Stay in position. The Holy Spirit is about to vindicate your discernment. And remember, beloved, your ability to still love in the face of betrayal is your strength, not your shame. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Subscribe to the channel for regular prophetic insight, spiritual empowerment, and exclusive content to guide your divine journey. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1313 is now active around you. Hear this now. With the weight of heaven resting upon these words, this betrayal is more than personal. It is prophetic. What you felt as emotional devastation, heaven recorded as spiritual warfare. What you saw as disloyalty from a friend, the Spirit identified as an attempted assassination of your calling. This moment, this wound, this disruption, it is not random. It is a signal that you are standing in the middle of a battleground where kingdoms clash in silence and in spirit. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. The reason the betrayal cut so deep is not because of what they said, but because of what you carry. You have been chosen to carry light into shadow, and wherever light dares to go, shadow fights to remain. They did not turn on you because of your weakness. They turned because your light threatened their comfort with darkness. They did not distance themselves because you failed them, but because your truth exposed their deception. You must understand the spiritual depth of what you've walked through. The moment you said yes to your divine assignment, a ripple moved through the unseen realm. You became a target, not because you are cursed, but because you are consecrated. Your presence in certain atmospheres disturbed the powers that have long been tolerated there. Your purity confronted perversion. Your obedience silenced manipulation. Your intercession broke cycles, and they could not handle it. And so the enemy sought to break you in the most strategic way, not through enemies, but through the familiar. This is why your silence was misunderstood as weakness. It was never weakness. It was training. The time you spent in quietness, the moments you withheld your voice, the restraint you showed when you could have exposed them, that was heaven tempering your spirit. That was the Holy Spirit anchoring your soul. And now, what they mistook for cowardice has become your crown. Because while they spoke behind closed doors, you were being refined in the fire. Your pain has not gone unseen. Your private wrestling, your unanswered prayers, your cries in the night, heaven was present. Archangel Michael stood over you when you couldn't lift your own head. The courtroom of heaven heard the accusations against you, and the judge of all creation declared, "Touch not my anointed. Do my prophet no harm." You were not abandoned. You were being measured. Your reaction to the betrayal has been recorded. Your restraint, your refusal to retaliate, your decision to bless even when cursed, these were not small things. They were sacred tests. Tests that revealed what realm your heart truly belonged to. And you passed them. Yes, even in your tears, even in your confusion, you passed. Because heaven was never expecting perfection. Heaven was looking for surrender. Let it be known. Your endurance has become your evidence. Now listen with spiritual ears. The betrayal did not remove your calling, it confirmed it. The conflict did not disqualify you, it established you. The lies spoken about you became the foundation for truth to be elevated through you. They meant it for harm, but heaven bent it into purpose. And now, the lines are being drawn in the spirit. Those who stood in shadow will soon be unable to hide. And those who remained faithful in the fire are being summoned forward. This is where everything shifts. Because now you see that this has never been about a person. It's never been just about what they did or said. It has always been about what you carry. What's inside you is dangerous to darkness. Your identity is disruptive to demonic agendas. Your obedience is a threat to hidden principalities. And the enemy knows, if you ever fully embrace who you are, if you ever fully walk in what heaven has given you, the shadows won't just tremble, they'll shatter. And so they tried to crush you with betrayal. But what was meant to bury you has become the soil from which your anointing now blooms. Lift your head. Wipe your face. Straighten your back. You are not just a wounded soul. You are a chosen vessel. Heaven did not ignore your pain. It documented it. Heaven did not silence your cries. It stored them in bottles. And now, in the fullness of divine timing, the fire you endured is becoming the weapon you wield. The revelation that wrecked you is about to release you. You were made for this. All of it. The heartbreak. The confusion. The betrayal. The silence. You didn't lose your mind. You gained a mantle. You didn't lose a friend. You lost a distraction. What tried to delay your destiny only deepened your discernment. And now, the Spirit says, rise. You are not stepping into the next season as a victim. You are stepping into it as a vessel forged in fire, anointed by affliction, and purified by betrayal. The battlefield has always been bigger than you thought. And now, you see it clearly. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Listen closely now, for the trumpet has sounded in the unseen realm. What was hidden is trembling. What was hushed is stirring. The betrayer, yes, that one. The one who watched you suffer with dry eyes and whispered peace while planting seeds of chaos, is not finished. Archangel Michael speaks with divine urgency. They are planning to strike again, in a new form. This is not speculation. This is not suspicion. This is supernatural intelligence from the throne room of heaven. You've entered a window of heightened spiritual activity, and the enemy is growing desperate. They know what you're carrying now. They know you didn't die from the last blow. They know you are rising, and in their desperation, they will come cloaked in something different, not with the same face, not with the same tone, not in the same package, but the same spirit, the same dark assignment, just wearing a new disguise. Before the next 72 hours pass, something will shift. A veil will lift. An exposure will unfold. You will either see it in a dream, sense it in a conversation, or experience a glitch, a divine interruption in your day. Do not ignore it. Do not downplay it. The Holy Spirit will send you alerts. They will not come through natural reasoning. They will come through divine insight. Your spirit will feel it before your mind can explain it. Do not wait for physical proof. Proof is for the flesh, but revelation is for the spirit. And you, beloved, must be alert in spirit, because the betrayer is positioning themselves to move again. And this time, they seek to access what they lost the first time. They are not just after your peace. They are after your positioning. They want to disrupt what God is birthing through you. But they cannot win unless you invite them back in. Be warned, they will attempt to mask their next move with kindness. They will speak peace while plotting poison. They will try to distract you with emotional bait, old wounds, false apologies, sudden reappearances. They will even attempt to draw you into meaningless conversations just to see if your guard is still up. But heaven declares, stay hidden. Stay sharp. Stay still. Because the atmosphere is charged. Heaven is roaring. The pressure you've felt in your chest, the weight you've sensed in your home, the restlessness in your dreams, it is not random. It is the announcement of impending confrontation. The veil between dimensions is thin right now. Angelic forces are moving swiftly, and the enemy is trying to slip through during the distraction. Do not be misled. The betrayer will not always come in the form of a person. Sometimes, it is an idea, a temptation, a voice from the past, a door you once closed being cracked back open by false comfort. Do not entertain it. This is not the time to second-guess your discernment. You have been entrusted with a warning, and how you respond in this moment will determine whether the enemy gets access or is shut down entirely. You are standing at the threshold of a spiritual confrontation, and you must be ready. Not ready with your emotions. Ready with your authority. This battle will not be fought in shouting or in striving. It will be fought in stillness, in strategy, in sanctified obedience. Heaven is not asking you to attack. It is commanding you to align. Align your words. Align your atmosphere. Align your soul with the will of God. Because this moment carries eternal weight. Archangel Michael has surrounded your dwelling with divine warriors. The enemy is aware. They are watching. They are trying to find cracks in your consistency, openings where they can suggest lies to you, hoping you'll doubt what heaven already revealed. But now is not the time to waver. Now is not the time to play small. Now is the time to declare war in the spirit by refusing to bow to fear, confusion, or false reconciliation. In the next 72 hours, you will see something. It may be subtle, a slip of the tongue, a strange message, a vivid dream, a sudden urge to withdraw from someone who once felt safe. Pay attention. These are not coincidences. These are divine alerts. Every glitch is a gate. Every sign is a signal. The Spirit is speaking. Are you listening? Your obedience in this window is your protection. Do not explain your distance. Do not defend your silence. Do not justify your discernment. What heaven has revealed to you does not require earthly validation. You are not crazy. You are being kept. And the one who walks in shadow is about to find themselves exposed by the light of heaven. Be vigilant. Pray in tongues. Anoint your doorposts. Declutter your space. Prepare for revelation. Because confrontation is not always loud. Sometimes it is divine separation. And remember, the betrayer isn't just trying to hurt you, they're trying to access what God has preserved in you. But they will fail. They will fall short. Because you are not who you were when the betrayal first happened. You are no longer fragile. You are fortified. This is not the time to fall back. This is the time to stand forward. Not in pride, but in power. Not in anger, but in authority. Not in fear, but in fire. You are being preserved for something holy, and nothing formed against you shall prevail. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 777 is now guarding your house and your mind. Be still now. Still your thoughts. Still your reactions. Still your soul. For though the winds around you have begun to rage, the instruction from heaven is not to panic, but to discern. This is not the hour to fight with carnal weapons. This is not the time to prove your side or chase vindication. This is the sacred moment where stillness becomes your shield and silence becomes your sword. The Spirit is speaking. Only the still will hear. Archangel Michael stands encamped around you, mighty in flame and unmatched in authority. The ones who plotted against you thought they were working in secret, but they've been operating under surveillance. Every whisper against you has been heard in the Spirit. Every motive is now being weighed, and while they plot in shadow, you are being hidden in glory. You do not need to respond in emotion. You do not need to defend what God Himself has already secured. The enemy wants to bait you into reaction, but you must rise into revelation. That's where your power is. Not in your volume, not in your vengeance, but in your vision. You must see this moment as sacred. You must see this storm as strategy. Fast. Pray. Consecrate your space. Heaven is downloading clarity for the chosen, and your ears must be tuned. Your flesh will want answers. Your heart will crave confrontation. But your spirit must stand in surrender. Not all battles are won by swinging swords. Some are won by staying silent in the right direction. Let your silence become your spiritual roar. Because while they speak your name in secret, heaven is speaking your name in power. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not unprotected. Archangel Michael hath been dispatched, not only to guard, but to guide. Divine guards are being assigned to your home, your relationships, your projects, your peace. They are standing at your door. They are moving through your nights. They are watching the places you cannot see. Do not be alarmed if people begin to fall away. Do not be startled if the betrayer suddenly distances themselves. It is not a loss. It is a lockdown. Heaven is sealing you off from sabotage. What looks like disconnection is actually divine insulation. God is hiding you in plain sight. You are being pulled out of reach, not because you're losing, but because you're being prepared for a level the enemy cannot enter. There is a consecrated silence that only the anointed understand. It is not passive. It is prophetic. It says, I will not give access to my energy while heaven is working on my behalf. You must walk in that posture now. Speak less. Listen more. Move intentionally. Cover everything in prayer before responding to anything. This is how you protect the oil you carry. Use declarations. Speak the word of God out loud. Say it until your atmosphere aligns. Say it until every demonic projection shatters. Say it until the heaviness breaks. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. That's not just a verse. It is a verdict. A heavenly sentence decreed over your life. The weapon may form. The plan may rise. But the success of it, denied by divine authority. The losses you faced recently. The delays. The people who walked away. None of it was random. Every part of it was strategic. Every delay preserved your destiny. Every no redirected your steps. Every door that shut was heaven's hand at work. Yes, but it helmed. And the proof is in your current posture. You're still standing. You're still breathing. You're still believing. And because of that, you're still in alignment. They thought silence would weaken you, but it's become your sanctuary. They thought being quiet made you passive, but it made you powerful. Because in the silence, you didn't lose your identity, you found it. In the stillness, you didn't collapse, you recalibrated. You discovered what only the hidden know. The secret place is the strongest place. Now hear this clearly. Do not reopen doors that heaven has closed. Do not revisit conversations that God ended. The betrayer will seek to re-enter, through sympathy, through guilt, through false peace. You will feel the urge to explain. No. You will feel the need to clarify. Resist. Because in this moment, your silence is your strength, and your obedience is your protection. You don't need to seek vengeance. You don't need to seek closure. All you need to do is stay in position. Guard your soul. Guard your thoughts. Guard your tongue. You are entering a window of divine distinction, and not everyone can follow you there. So declare over yourself, I am covered. I am kept. I am protected. Let that become your anthem. Let that become your firewall. Because while the betrayer still walks in shadow, you walk under divine surveillance. And no shadow has ever overpowered the one who walks in light. Type I am protected in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 444 is now surrounding your home, mind, and spirit. A betrayal didn't destroy you. It revealed you. It peeled back the layers of who you thought you had to be, and it awakened the warrior that heaven knew you were all along. What they did to you, the silence, the lies, the abandonment, it was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of your emergence. You were not discarded. You were discovered. The betrayal, as painful as it was, became your birthing canal. The moment they turned their back, heaven turned toward you. The moment they counted you out, heaven marked you in. Yes. It wounded, yes. But what they meant for harm has now been hijacked by heaven, and it's forging something unstoppable inside of you. This is your turning point. The pain you endured is being transfigured into power. The tears that burned your pillow at night were not wasted. They watered the soil where your next season will rise. You didn't break under the weight of what happened, you burned. And in that burning, something sacred emerged. Something rare. Something resilient. You are not a kahuli. You are a cathedral under construction, and the Spirit of the Lord is laying every stone. Rise now, not as a victim of betrayal, but as a vessel of divine refinement. You are shifting. You are ascending. You are no longer the version of yourself that begged to be understood or explained your discernment. That version of you was useful for the last season, but it cannot survive where you are headed. That version was wounded. This one is weaponized. The fire they tried to burn you with did not destroy you. It anointed you. And now, Your very presence carries a heat that intimidates the spirits that once felt comfortable around you. You've grown wings in the dark, and now it's time to soar in the light. You may have crawled into this fire, but you're walking out of it with holy thunder in your steps. Your voice has changed. Your prayers have sharpened. Your worship has deepened. Because betrayal will either break your spirit or build your backbone, and you, chosen one, chose to rise. This isn't resilience from human strength. This is revival from divine breath. Heaven breathed on the ashes of what they tried to bury you under, and now you rise, clothed in clarity and crowned in glory. You've walked through the furnace, but the fire didn't consume you. It consumed everything that wasn't meant to follow you into your next dimension. This is your transformation. The betrayal stripped away illusions. It removed false alignments and confronted codependency. And though it felt like rejection, it was really divine redirection. God allowed the betrayal not to break your heart, but to break the limitations off your spirit. Because you were carrying more than you realized, and now heaven has revealed it through pressure. Let the fire finish its work. Let the purification complete. Do not run from this moment. Stand in it. Rise in it. Let every lie they told about you become a platform for truth. Let every door they close become evidence that God is your only gatekeeper. Let every silence become sacred. Let every delay become divine. You are aflame now, untouchable, unapologetic, unstoppable, and those who watched you break will now witness your becoming. Those who threw stones in secret will now see you stand publicly in power. They will wonder how you rose. They will question how you healed. They will be confused by the peace that surrounds you, because they never expected you to survive the fire. But you didn't just survive it. You became it. You are the flame now. And anything that touches you without permission will be scorched by glory. Heaven has lit a fire in your spirit, and it will not go out. Not this time. Not ever again. So speak this over yourself. I am not who I was. I am who heaven says I am. I am born of fire. I am forged in light. I am unstoppable in Christ. Let your voice rise like a war cry. Let it shake the atmosphere. You are not hiding anymore. You are not shrinking anymore. You are not apologizing for your growth, your fire, or your authority. You have passed through the betrayal, and you now carry something too dangerous for darkness to ignore. What happened to you was unfair, but what heaven is doing through you is unmatched. You are the evidence that divine justice exists. You are the walking testimony that betrayal cannot abort destiny. You are the embodiment of what it means to rise with fire in your lungs and heaven in your eyes. Do not return to what God delivered you from. Do not apologize for the anointing you now walk in. You paid for it with your pain. You earned it through your endurance. And now, you wear it like armor. You are no longer the wounded one. You are the warrior rising. Type I am rising in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 888 is now surrounding you with the fire of glory and the oil of heaven. The betrayal was heaven's permission for your ascension. Hear this now with reverence in your spirit. What they meant to wound you with, God used to unlock your purpose. The pain that came like a thief in the night, silent, sharp, and personal, has now been turned into the very gate through which your divine next must pass. You were not disqualified by the betrayal. You were identified by it. Let this pierce the doubt trying to cloud your vision. It was not rejection. It was revelation. The divine didn't allow the betrayal because you were weak. No, the betrayal was allowed because you were ready. Ready to see the truth. ready to release the false, ready to be severed from what could not survive the glory that is now coming upon you. There are truths too holy for casual company, and heaven knew what you still struggled to believe. Not everyone could go with you where you're being sent. You prayed for clarity. You prayed for breakthrough. You asked for confirmation. And then, betrayal came. The silence, the distance, the strange shifts, the false apologies, the unmasking. And you wondered, why would God allow this? But now you know, because had they stayed, they would have strangled the assignment on your life. They would have polluted the purity of your next. They would have smiled with you publicly and sabotaged you spiritually. So God, in His mercy, allowed the exposure. He let it burn, not to punish, but to purify. And now, the scroll of your next season is opening. Archangel Michael speaks, and the realms respond. The divine record over your life has reached a turning point. You have passed through fire, and now you are stepping into fulfillment. The assignment that was held back is being released. The angels that stood still are now in motion. The delay has lifted, and you, beloved, are stepping into the fulfillment of promises you almost gave up on. Your betrayal was not random. It was an access point for divine clarity. It forced you to listen when you wanted to explain. It made you observe when you wanted to defend. And in the silence, you heard God more clearly than you ever did in the noise. In the separation, you realized who your source truly was. Let this truth mark you forever. Betrayal does not cancel purpose. It activates it. You were not meant to stay stuck in the pain. You were meant to pass through it. This was a divine passage, a transition disguised as a tragedy. And now, the veil has lifted. You can see. You can breathe. You can hear. The heavens are echoing your name through new corridors, places where your name is spoken with honor, not envy, with alignment, not agenda. You were tested in secret to be trusted in public. And now, the realm of glory is opening for you. Things are going to begin to move swiftly. Doors that wouldn't open are suddenly creaking. Connections you thought were lost will realign, but not the old way. This time, it's with clean hands and pure hearts. This time, it's with revelation, not with desperation. Heaven did not let you see the betrayal because God wanted to make you bitter. Heaven allowed you to see it so that you could be better prepared for what's coming. Some blessings are too weighty to be delivered in darkness. Some promotions require exposure before entrance. You had to be purified from misplaced loyalty, emotional idolatry, and spiritual blindness. And now, you are ready. You are walking into spaces where your pain will become your passport, where the very thing that tried to silence you will become the fuel that carries your message to the multitudes, where the oil that came from your crushing will heal the wounds of others. You are not just rising, you are ascending in authority, insight, and holy responsibility. So lift your head, clear your voice, stand in your anointing. The throne room has ruled in your favor. This was not the enemy's victory. This was your initiation. You have been commissioned in fire, anointed in silence, promoted in secret. And now, the scrolls are opening. Heaven is releasing details, instructions, names, and blueprints. Do not ignore the divine downloads coming to you in dreams, through prophetic encounters, through sudden interruptions. The next phase of your journey is not random, it is written. And the betrayer, the one who still walks in shadow, they are no longer your focus. They are in the hands of justice. They are being dealt with, not by your mouth, but by God's movement. What they did gave you access to an entirely new dimension. And the truth is, had they not turned, you might have stayed beneath your potential. So do not curse what God has already used for your elevation. Let the betrayer walk. Let the past break. Let your next rise. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $10. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Subscribe to the channel for ongoing prophetic insight, transformational truth, and fresh revelation. We're building something powerful, and you are a vital part of it. Type "I receive divine promotion" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1919 is now unlocking new realms of favor over your life. Now speak it out loud, with trembling in your voice if you must, but speak it with conviction. I accept the call on my life. Let every realm hear it. Let every demon that hoped you'd stay small hear it. Let every angel that waited for your alignment hear it. Let your past hear it. Let your betrayal hear it. You are no longer lingering at the gate of potential. You are walking into destiny. Not with perfection, but with permission. Not with clarity on every step, but with surrender in your heart. Heaven does not wait for your full understanding. Heaven moves at the sound of your agreement. You see, the realms shift not when you feel ready, but when you say yes. That is the holy ignition. That is the divine spark. And now, you have reached the moment where your movement is the miracle. You've cried. You mourned. You waited. But now it is time to move. To be. You will. To lead. Prophecy. Serve. Intercede. Declare. This battlefield was never meant to keep you on your knees in pain. It was meant to train you how to stand in power. The enemy hoped you'd stay frozen. The betrayer hoped you'd stay broken. But your yes is breaking the curse. Your yes is collapsing old cycles. Your yes is unlocking scrolls that were sealed until this very moment. You don't need closure from them. Heaven has already closed that door. You don't need validation from those who abandoned you. Your identity comes from the one who created you. You don't need to go back and explain what God has already covered in grace. You only need to move forward, boldly, fiercely, anointed. Release the need to look back. Let it go. The weight of the betrayal has served its purpose. The ache has become an altar. The loss has become a launch. Do not look for the old version of yourself. They no longer exist. That version was sacrificed on the altar of destiny. The version that once feared rejection, that begged for understanding, that made excuses for disloyalty. That version has been laid to rest. And now, something holy rises. You are stepping into a new realm of alignment, a divine synchronization between your assignment and your authority. You are not a spectator in the kingdom. You are a carrier of it. You are a portal through which the will of God breaks into the earth. You are not just favored. You are functioning in the favor. This is your activation moment. This is the heaven-signed shift. Archangel Michael stands behind you. The army of the Lord surrounds you. And the heavens are watching to see if your movement will match your mantle. The time for waiting has passed. The time for questioning has expired. This is the hour to walk, even if you feel the fear pressing. Walk anyway. Declare anyway. Obey anyway. Because heaven responds to movement. What you thought required more information really just required more obedience. And what you feared was weakness is actually a sign of readiness, because those who tremble in God's presence are those who can carry His power safely. You are being entrusted with more now. More insight, more responsibility, more territory. But with it also comes more clarity and more support from heaven itself. You are not stepping into this season alone. The angelic guard has increased. Divine allies are being assigned to you. People who won't compete with your call, but who will cover it. People who don't envy your fire, but who will protect it. You are being given access to environments that were once locked to you, not because you begged for them, but because you became the version of you that could be trusted with them. Declare now with your spirit aligned. My spirit agrees with heaven's will. Say it like a key unlocking doors in the unseen realm. Say it like chains are breaking. Say it like your future depends on it, because it does. Your alignment is the password. Your agreement is the access point. The moment you agree with God's will, you become untouchable by what tried to stop you. Now, begin to walk with boldness. Step into rooms with head high and heart anchored. No more apologizing for your oil. No more shrinking to keep others comfortable. No more hiding behind humility that's really just fear in disguise. This is your territory. This is your scroll. This is your time. Let them wonder how you made it. Let them question why heaven still promotes you. Let them sit in silence, while you sit in spiritual seatings meant only for the faithful. What they lost through betrayal, you gained through endurance. What they forfeited with lies, you inherited through loyalty. And now, you will speak with clarity. You will move with authority. You will activate others, because you yourself are now activated. You are no longer waiting to be called. You are the call. Type I accept my assignment in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 717 is now guiding your every step and aligning you with divine precision. While you slept, your name was spoken in heaven. Not in passing, not as an afterthought, but as a declaration, as a signal, as a divine command sent into the very core of the spirit realm. Heaven has not only seen your suffering, it has responded to it. And now, the silence that once felt so unbearable is echoing with divine transactions that are shifting everything around you. This moment, this space between the betrayal and the breakthrough, is not void. It is sacred. It is strategic. Here is a silent exchange taking place in the spirit realm. Things you didn't even know you lost are being traded back to you. Conversations you never heard. Tears you never spoke aloud. Battles you never shared. They've all been placed on the altar. And heaven is answering with justice. Pain for power. Boy. Abandonment for anointing. Loss for legacy. These aren't poetic phrases. These are spiritual transactions. You've sown pain in silence, and now you are reaping power in secret. While the world thought you were breaking down, heaven knew you were being built up. The silence you endured was not empty. It was a currency. It was a spiritual deposit. And now, withdrawals are being made in your favor. The tears you cried in the dark have reached the light. And the angels assigned to your life have taken them, like burning coals on holy altars, and presented them before the throne of God. You didn't need to shout to be heard. You didn't need to fight to be defended. You only needed to endure the refining. And you did. You passed the test. You stood the fire. And now something holy is shifting. Archangel Michael now stands over the altar of justice with sword drawn, not to fight for what you lost, but to restore what was stolen. Because not all losses are visible. Not all betrayals make noise. Some came through emotional distance, through withheld support, through lies wrapped in kindness. But heaven sees what man does not. And heaven is not passive. Heaven is precise. There have been negotiations taking place in realms your natural mind cannot comprehend. Divine trades occurring, not with gold or silver, but with weighty matters of destiny. The enemy tried to rob you of purpose, but God is returning it with interest. The enemy tried to fracture your mind, but heaven is restoring it with revelation. The enemy tried to weaken your voice, but now you speak with fire. The weeping was not wasted. It was a signal. Every tear that fell carried a vibration that shook the heavenly courts. Angels were dispatched. Assignments were reviewed. Strategies were written. You were never alone, even when the silence screamed otherwise. You were never forgotten, even when it felt like you'd been dismissed. The stillness wasn't absence. It was activity. Heaven doesn't always move in noise. Sometimes, the loudest miracles are birthed in the quiet. And you, beloved, are in the midst of one right now. A reversal is coming. A repayment is on the way. What was silenced in shame will now be shouted in strength. What was bearing by betrayal will now rise in boldness. You've been repositioned, not publicly but prophetically. And while others try to figure out how you're still standing, you will know heaven carried you. Not your strength, not your intellect, but divine preservation. There is an honor being placed on your name in the Spirit. The very places you were mocked in, you'll now be mentioned with reverence. The very environments that drained you will now require your presence to thrive. You were the seed that went into the ground alone, misunderstood, unseen. But now, you are sprouting with unstoppable momentum. And while the betrayer still walks in shadow, unaware that their season of access has been revoked, you are walking in favor that was negotiated by the angels of God. They are still plotting, but heaven has already acted. They are still trying to manipulate narratives, but heaven has already sealed yours in truth. Their words may still echo, but your reputation is now protected by glory. You are walking in the benefit of a spiritual exchange you didn't even know was taking place. But your heart knew. Your spirit knew. That's why you couldn't give up. That's why something in you kept holding on. Because deep inside you sensed, this isn't just pain. This is preparation. Something sacred is happening here. So now, stand up with this truth burning in your bones. You are being restored in ways your enemies will never understand. They took your name into rooms to shame you, but heaven is taking your name into realms to promote you. They silenced you with shadows, but God is backing you with power. They thought your silence was the end of your story, but it was the beginning of your shift. You are not who you were. You are the result of a silent exchange that changed everything. Type "I am in divine exchange" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing Code 2020 is now releasing heavenly restoration over your name, your mind, and your mission. The time of silent suffering has come to its prophetic end. Now comes the divine reversal, swift, unstoppable, and sealed by the justice of heaven. The betrayer, the one who cloaked themselves in false peace and operated in the dark, has been marked. And not by you, not by man, but by the very throne they tried to defy. Heaven has ruled, and the sentence has already been handed down. What was done in secret shall now be exposed in light. Hear this with the full weight of the Spirit. Justice is not pending. Justice has begun. The heaven tamu. The sword has been unsheathed. Archangel Michael stands not as a messenger today, but as an executor of divine justice. He does not move by human emotion. He moves by divine instruction. And the instruction has been clear. Restore what was stolen. Reveal what was hidden. Reverse what was perverted. They thought their whispers would remain in shadows, but the shadows now speak. They thought their manipulation was undetectable, but the winds have shifted. They thought their silence would protect them, but silence has now turned into a loud witness against them. They spoke against you. Now their own words bind them. Every lie they told, every truth they distorted, every time they stood by while others wounded you, those moments are not forgotten. They are now evidence. The divine courtroom has documented it all. What they sowed in gossip, they will reap in consequence. What they buried in secrecy, heaven is uncovering. And while they try to act untouched, the fire has already begun to burn at their heels. But hear this clearly. Justice in the kingdom is not petty. It is precise. It doesn't come to humiliate. It comes to expose, correct, and restore order. It does not come with vengeance in your name. It comes with righteousness in God's. This is not just your vindication. This is heaven's correction to a system of betrayal that has gone unchecked for too long. The betrayal wasn't just aimed at you. It was a rebellion against a divine order, a defiling of sacred covenant, a tampering with spiritual alignment. And heaven, being holy, will not allow such trespass to prosper. There is a holy audit taking place in this very hour. Everything they gain through deceit will begin to decay. Relationships built on manipulation will fracture. Platforms constructed with stolen peace will collapse. Their name, once carried lightly, will now bear weight under the judgment of truth. They won't know when it starts, but you will feel the shift. It will be undeniable. Something in the air will break, and your spirit will confirm justice has arrived. And what of you? You who wept in silence. You who bore the betrayal with trembling but refused to retaliate. You who stayed silent while slander ran wild. You who chose intercession over bitterness. You are being vindicated, not by a loud defense but by undeniable elevation. Your name is being restored. Your honor is being renewed. Your steps are being ordered into spaces they tried to keep you out of. Every loss is now a ledger in the divine courtroom. Every humiliation, every misinterpretation, every false accusation. Heaven has tallied them not as wounds but as weights, weights of glory, weights of recompense. You will not only be restored, you will be repaid. With interest, with authority, with grace. Because the reversal that is coming will not be quiet. It will be holy and public and profound. They cursed you in whispers, but you will be blessed in open doors. They excluded you in secret, but God will include you in destiny moments they will have to witness. They misuse your loyalty, but now heaven honors your name. And the best part, you won't have to orchestrate a thing. The betrayer walks in shadow, but not untouched. The spiritual consequences have already begun to unravel their false coverings. They may try to repair with charm, but charm has lost its power. They may try to shift the narrative, but the light will not let them hide. Do not be surprised if you hear their name again. Do not be shaken when others begin to come to you, sharing stories that confirm what you always sensed. You will not have to dig. You will not have to search. Heaven is unsealing scrolls, releasing truth, and assigning angels to pull down every lie that exalted itself against your name. Let this burn in your bones. You are not forgotten. You are favored. You are not defeated. You are destined. You are not silenced. You are being strategically positioned to speak from a place of holy authority. What you lost is returning. What you gave in love is being returned in glory. What was hidden in darkness is now under divine confrontation. The betrayer may still be walking freely, but they are walking under the watch of justice. And justice never sleeps. Justice never forgets. Justice never misses. If this message resonates with you and you feel led to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $5. Your generosity helps us create more prophetic content like this for those who need it. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Subscribe now for fresh prophetic insight, spiritual warfare teaching, and weekly updates designed to strengthen your discernment and restore your roar. Type "I stand in justice" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1616 is now working divine reversal in your name. You are seen. You are sealed. You are spiritually sent forward by heaven's decree. Beloved, this is not just the end of a message, it is the activation of a movement. This is your divine exit from the season of betrayal, and your supernatural entry into the season of promotion by fire. The betrayal that nearly broke you has now become the bridge that carries you into your next dimension of purpose. The one in shadow could not stop the one in light. You are not what they did to you. You are not what they said about you. You are who heaven has declared you to be. Let that settle deep into your spirit. Let it uproot every lie. Let it wash away the shame, the confusion, the self-doubt. Because this moment is not about going back. This is about rising forward. No more rehearsing the wound. No more replaying the betrayal. The judgment hath been rendered. The sentence has been issued. And your role now is to walk out of the fire and into the fulfillment. There is a fresh wind at your back. A supernatural push that will place you exactly where you are meant to be. Without compromise. Without begging. Without apology. You are being placed with precision. What man cannot orchestrate, God is commanding. What they withheld from you, God is releasing to you in full. Now breathe deeply, for the air around you is shifting. The angels have heard your name and are carrying instructions. Archangel Michael stands at the gate of your next, and nothing forged against you will prosper. You are covered. You are guided. You are divinely protected from here forward. Let your final declaration rise like incense before the throne. I walk in truth. I walk in fire. I walk with God. Say it until your soul aligns. Say it until your atmosphere obeys. Say it until the darkness bows and destiny unlocks. You are aligned. You are appointed. You are destined to rise. Now go. With boldness. With fire in your eyes. With sword in your mouth. You are not a bystander in this war. You are a warrior, crowned with wisdom, robed in justice, and sealed in holy authority. Your next has begun. Type "I am walking in fire" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 999 is now escorting you into your supernatural elevation.